Right?
Hi, is this the operator?
Hi, yes ma'am, that's Drew, I'll be your operator today.
Okay, great. Drew, my name is Jennifer. I'm very delighted to have you be our operator. We want to let people know that there is a PowerPoint, so if they want to follow along, that it's on our website on the events page. Are there people, have the people dialed in yet or not yet?
I've got 6 parties on the line.
Okay, great. If you can remind them to go to to make sure they have the PowerPoint, that it's on the events page of the website.
Okay, great. Please on hold just a moment, I'll make an announcement.
Great.
It's on, what's the website?
It's respectabilityusa.org. And then if they go to the events page, they'll find the PowerPoint.
Okay, just one moment, I'll go ahead and make that announcement for you.
I'll mention it too.
I probably will too.
Yeah,
You know,
There's actually a link they have to click on the events
I
page.
usually do a little repeating, like most thing, I'll stick people.
They'll figure it out.
10 minutes late. Just kind of.
That's cool. It's good practice.
Okay, I'm going to make that announcement.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have 2 more minutes.
It's easy identifier.
If anyone wants to get cookies or anything, now's a good time.
My parents call me Ez. My family.
Is there a cue for when to change lines?
Works.
Vivian, when are you going to want him to change slides? Will you have him do it, or you want
Yeah,
me to just
it's sort
pull
of,
the
see,
computer
because
over?
we're kind of, we're not exactly,
Okay.
following, we're kind of in and out, because pieces are, incorporated
Okay.
into the presentation.
So you'll let him know when?
Yeah,
Or do you want me to bring the computer over, so I can just pull it
But-
down?
Vivian, one last
yeah,
thing.
because we kind of,
Vivian, I could just sit next to him.
excuse me?
I can
Sit next to him.
Yeah, Lou can do it, let Lou do it, because he knows it better. That's a good idea, Lou.
I'm just cleaning up my mess.
No problem.
Switch off. It's,
Make sure that camera does not go any further.
Yeah, you're good. That's a good tip of advice.
Operator, how many people do we have on the line at this point?
Yeah.
Right now I'm showing 9 parties.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just give it 1 more minute.
It's pushing me forward.
There's
Let them
a-
know we'll start in 1 minute.
Yep, just one moment.
Operator, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. If you give me just one moment, I'll join your line and cut the music beat and turn it over to you.
Great.
I'll give it to
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience in holding. We now have our speaker conference. Now
Is
let's
he
turn
ready?
the conference over to Jennifer Laszlo, Ms. Rocky.
Hello and welcome. This is Jennifer Laszlo Mizrahi, and on behalf of Respectability USA, I want to welcome you here today for a terrific program with an outstanding group of speakers. Respectability is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization working to empower people with disabilities to achieve the American dream. A key part of that work is finding real case studies of success, things that are really making a positive difference to enable people with disabilities to succeed. One of those programs that we'll be highlighting today is the MOST program. Well, let me just tell you that you can get captions on this video because it's on YouTube by clicking the CC box for closed captions. Additionally, we also have a transcript on our website if that is easier for you to use, along with a PowerPoint that goes with this presentation. So I encourage you to go to www.respectabilityusa.org and get the accompanying transcript and PowerPoint that goes with this presentation. Our speakers today come from a wonderful program from the Jewish Foundation for Group Homes. Our leader, who's going to kick us off and going to introduce us to our other participants, is Vivian G. Bass. She's their CEO, and she's been involved there for about 30 years. She's been working to improve the quality of life, independence, and working as a community inclusion and for the dignity of individuals with disabilities throughout the metropolitan Washington, D.C. area, nationally and internationally. As the JFGH's CEO since '95, she's responsible for oversight of the agency's 74 residential locations regionally, which support adults in a variety of service delivery models, as well as for 2 innovative transitional programs and 2 social recreation programs for young adults. The agency, under her leadership, has grown from under a $5 million budget to one where their total assets are over $26 million. She's really a role model for people like myself and others who are working to improve the lives of adults with disabilities. This work and the work of the team that she has assembled to be with us today is very exciting and can be replicated in other places. That can help employers because these people are outstanding employees and can also help save tax money, as many of these individuals are now able to become financially independent and not as dependent on government benefits. But it's a total package program, very interesting, and again, worthy of being replicated. Let me turn it over now to Vivian Bass. Thank you, Vivian, for being with us.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for facilitating this marvelous opportunity. And well-deserved praise to you and your staff and interns and board of directors at Respectability USA for the remarkable strides that you have made, and all in less than 1 year. So we truly admire all that you've done. I'm very pleased and proud to be representing JFGH leadership today, along with those on our panel, and I'd like to introduce themselves.
I'm Marcy Bennett. I'm the MOST Program Administrator.
Hi, I'm Chucky. I work at Target Media at Rolling Company Park Line, driving truck with Parkway.
And I'm Ron Kronthal, the Vice President and General Counsel of the Rolling Companies.
I am Ada. I work in MOST program.
This is Ada, and she attends the MOST program. My name is Ross Kerr. I'm a counselor at the MOST program.
My name is Emmanuel. I'm a counselor at the MOST program.
Hi, Karen. I am or was a participant in the MOST program.
So, what happens when suddenly that yellow school bus stops coming? What happens when it's time to begin working? And what does it mean to be an adult and the responsibilities that come with being an adult? These are all questions faced by our transitioning youth as they prepare to exit from a system of educational entitlements into the adult world. Prior to 2008, meetings with multiple stakeholders revealed a cohort of young adults who had completed high school but were unable to find suitable placements with providers or with employers. These individuals were affected by a variety of circumstances. Some were impacted by issues including disconnects between the family and programs' assessments of their abilities. Some families were just overwhelmed by the transition process in its entirety and by capacity issues with providers and much more. In response to these findings, JFGH proudly launched the Sally and Robert Goldberg MOST program in 2008 to meet this tremendous need in the community. The MOST program, M-O-S-T, Meaningful Opportunities for Successful Transitions, is a one-year transition program serving adults exiting the school and high school entitlements and entering that adult world. In 2011, in response to the demand here in Maryland, we expanded into Virginia, implementing the best practices from our Maryland MOST program. MOST provides that gap year so many of us need to solidify skills and to provide a bridge between the structure of school and independence of day programs. Participants in MOST build a support network by taking part in social and recreational opportunities within the community. MOST program is highly individualized and provides services to those with a broad range of disabilities, primarily typically in the 21 to 25-year-old range. The MOST program is most definitely not a center-based or facility-based program, and is certainly not a classroom type model. Instead, it is community-based and highly individualized. Our participants spend 1 year focusing on goals in 3 core areas after a 30-day baseline assessment period when they enter the program. The core areas include self-sufficiency, community inclusion, and vocational planning. The first, this self-sufficiency area focuses on the skills necessary for one's participation in the adult community. These skills can include personal hygiene, money management, or learning workplace expectations. In order for one to be successful in the workplace, they first need to know how to take care of themselves and to take care of their personal needs in a dignified manner as adults. We had one young man come through the program, and one of his goals was to learn how to shave. And we had another participant who was working on appropriate workplace attire and went on shopping trip with their support staff to identify items that would be appropriate for the workplace. The community goal, the second, includes travel training to assist an individual getting from point A to point B independently. That could be getting from home to a job, from home to college, or whatever. And this varies extremely for all of our participants. They learn to utilize public transportation, and some have even obtained their learner's permit while part of the MOST program. They are continually working on communication skills and learning skills to communicate with their coworkers and with others. For some, it's simply working on saying good morning and other routine daily greetings, while for others it's learning skills to initiate conversations and what to say to one's coworkers. And sometimes it's important to learn what not to say to coworkers. Finally, our vocational planning consists of job exploration, on-the-job training, volunteer opportunities for individuals to learn new skills, and educational opportunities for community college through preparing for a 4-year degree program. Some of our participants are coming to the MOST program because they have not yet determined what kind of job they would like to do. MOST assists each individual on a one-to-one basis to identify their work preferences. For example, do they like working indoors or outdoors? Do they like daytime or evening? Do they like to work with people, or would they prefer a more quiet environment? Some have already identified the type of job that they would like and are beginning to build their resume, while others continue pursuing educational opportunities. MOST is a new way of thinking and planning for transitional youth. Typically, when one transitions from school, the next step, that can be the last step, meaning that the individual will remain in that type of a program, structured, receiving services until they exit many, many years later, or maybe not at all. MOST instead provides a roadmap for that participant and for the new provider to understand and to hone in specifically on their interest and their motivations, and to tackle architectural, attitudinal, and communicational barriers that they may encounter. The goals are determined and driven by the individual, and the admissions criteria for MOST focuses on the individual's willingness to work towards these goals. The MOST program assists those in taking that next step toward independence in the adult world. Those completing the MOST program are better candidates for employers because they are developing the skills needed to be successful in employment through on-the-job experiences. Participants in MOST have an opportunity to experience a variety of workplace settings through partnerships in the community. Some partnerships include Sunflower Bakery, a Jewish community center, Manna Foods, Home for the Aged, Hebrew Home, the NAMI Thrift Shop, a Holy Cross Hospital, Emeritus Assisted Living, Habitat for Humanity, St. Coletta's, and Jewish Council for the Aged. And participants are also employed at businesses, including Roland, Joe's, Record Paradise, Art Enables, and Harris Teeter. We supported one young man who stated that his dream job included a long commute. He is now commuting 1.5 hours each way to his job as a clerical assistant. There was a location closer to his home, but because we didn't want to work there because he really enjoyed that metro ride every day. The local community college, Montgomery College, offers classes and training in specific areas such as computer training or child care certification. And numerous MOST participants have partaken of these marvelous opportunities. At the conclusion of the year-long program, our MOST program participants transition to another organization that they have been matched with. Although understandably, many have difficulty saying goodbye to JFGH. The participant and their family members play an integral role in that matching process. Some move on to receive job training and supports, while others continue with their college and other educational studies, internships such as project search, or daily volunteer positions. MOST program assists those individuals in taking the next step towards independence. And they are truly better candidates for employers because they've developed those skills. At this time, I will turn our session over to Marcy Bennett, MBA, my colleague, who has served as the MOST program administrator since the program's inception in 2008. Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you, Vivian. Here with us today are a few of our individuals who are either currently enrolled or have been through the program. The first one is right to my right, and that is Chucky, who completed our MOST program in 2012. Chucky came to us because he needed some assistance in getting to that job that he wanted and wanted to find out how he could learn those skills to get from point A to point B. His way of getting around was his parents were driving him everywhere he needed to go, and Chucky needed some assistance in learning how to do that. So he worked at the MOST program with his support staff, learning all of those skills he needed. How to get around on the bus, when the bus was coming, what happens when the bus is running on a holiday schedule, and how do I make the transfer. So Chucky learned how to do all of those skills, and Chucky's other interest was he wanted to get a job, wanted to make money. So Chucky went out and he interviewed and was hired by Roland as an office assistant, and now he's working there 5 days a week, and part of his job is restocking inventory. He's in charge of setting up for all of the meetings, make sure their conference room is spick and span. And Chucky brought with him today Ron from Roland. And Ron, can you just tell us a little bit about what it's like to have hired Chucky and having Chucky work for your organization?
Sure. First of all, thanks so much for inviting me. This is a real pleasure and an honor to support this program. But I have to tell you that Chucky's just been an enormously valuable addition to our team since day one, and honestly, we don't know what we would do without him. And that's the truth. I mean, I can tell you and will tell you all the different things that Chucky actually does for us functionally, but probably just as importantly is the attitude that he brings into our office every day. It is impossible to walk past Chucky and not smile. It is impossible to walk past Chucky and not say good morning, hello, how are you doing? I mean, he just makes Roland a better place to work and a better place to be. And we're all better off for this program, I can tell you. And we're very thankful that we had this introduction.
Thank you, Ron. Next we have Ada, who is in the program through almost her 6th month, so almost halfway through the program. Ada, can you tell us what your dream job is?
Help people.
So you like to help people?
Yeah.
And what kind of position are you interested in?
Animals.
So helping animals as well?
Yeah.
Very good. So something we've talked about is your interest in a greeter position at the front of the store and helping people there to find items that they're looking for,
Yeah.
right? So what kind of places have you applied to?
Pickle.
So Petco,
Pickle.
Bed Bath & Beyond, and some other jobs that you applied to. We're ready for the next
So,
question?
Ada, can you also tell me what you've been doing at the MOST program and finding your dream job?
I look at it. Paperwork. I don't know.
So the staff has been helping you with applying to jobs, right? So one thing you've been using is a computer. She's been using the computer to search for jobs with staff assistants, and one thing we practice at most is doing mock interview questions. So we'll have an interview setting where Ada will interview with staff, and we'll ask various questions as we would ask in a real interview situation. And also Ada goes out with staff to visit local businesses, and she searched for jobs to look for what kind of jobs she's interested in and to show her what kinds of jobs are out there. And also, lastly, Ada does some volunteer work that will benefit her resume in the long term for her job goals.
All right, thank you, Ada and Ross, for that assistance. So Ada will be completing the MOST program in September, and all of these skills that she's learning at the MOST program is going to make her just that better candidate for that employer when she's out there looking for that job. I wanted to go back to Chucky. Chucky, I forgot to ask you. I wanted to ask you very specific questions. Can you tell us the name of the company that you work for?
Okay, Marcia. You work at Rolling Company on Target Community.
You work at Roland Companies and you get your supports from Target Community?
Uh-huh.
Very good. And what is the name of your job coach who helps you each day?
Seth?
Seth? And Seth is coming to work, and what does he help you do?
Do Windex store, doing handles, do some boxes, do some little package.
Very good. So when you were with the MOST program, you had a job coach who was with you all the time when you were at Roland, when you were doing your work. And now, because Chucky has become so good at his job, his support staff have stopped coming as often. So Chucky is working more than half of his time completely independently. Great job, Chucky.
Yes.
Yes. And the last person we have with us today is Cameron.
Hi.
Cameron, can you tell us where you're working?
I'm working at Harris Teeter at Harris Teeter.
And what job are you doing there?
I am a bagger, bagging foods and a person who brings carts in and who sometimes sweeps the floor.
Very good. And when did you get that job, Cameron?
2 months ago.
2 months ago. So Cameron came to the MOST program, and Cameron wanted to get a job. And part of what Cameron needed was some on-the-job experiences because he had very little to put on his resume coming out of high school. So Cameron started out and volunteered at the NAMI thrift store, and his job there was to organize and alphabetize books. I've heard rumors that he actually put another volunteer out of work because he was so good at it. Within the first month, they doubled his volunteer hours because he was doing such a great job. And then Cameron got an internship through Home Goods, and he was working there for a short period of time, learning how to restock in the store and work in a retail store of that size. Unfortunately, or I don't know, fortunately for Cameron, the funding for that program ran out, which opened up the door for Cameron to then get competitively hired at Harris Teeter. And he is currently working at Harris Teeter. He's learning all of the job skills that he needs for that. And we think you like your job, right, Cameron?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Cameron is liking his job. So those are only 3 examples of individuals who are coming through the MOST program. And whether they're gaining on-the-job experiences, whether they are learning the skills that they need to get out there, they're becoming better employees and better candidates for our employers. And they are taking that next step toward independence for when that yellow school bus stops coming.
Fabulous. This was a great presentation, very tight, lots of great information. I'd like to ask some questions, perhaps of some of your participants who are getting the jobs.
Yes, please.
I'm wondering, do you envision a time when you'll be able to work full-time, or are you looking to really ideally have part-time employment? And how much you're paid? Are you making money so that you're able to buy things that are important to you?
Chucky, how much money do you make?
Okay, 91
I think you make an hourly rate
hourly rate
of $10 per hour.
per hour.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep. And right now you are working, if I did the math correctly, 20 hours per week,
Just,
right?
uh-huh.
Did you want more hours if they're available?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Chucky definitely would like to work more hours if the hours were available. Likes his schedule right now. And how about you, Cameron? You're just starting out in your new job, so do you remember, can you tell the panel how much money you're making right now?
Oh, I'm making about 8 something an hour, about 4 hours a day. I'm starting off for 4 hours because when I was doing 5 hours and 45 minutes the other day, about a week ago, there was a real busy day with carts, and I was the only cashier, the only bagger doing carts, and I was walking around all day, and so I decided to start off with 4 hours so that way I get used to it.
Right, so you're just in competitive employment for the first time. So Cameron's starting out with the less hours and then working his way up to when he can work full-time.
That's great. And when you were in high school, did you have any job training in high school, or is this new to you to have job training, an experience like this?
Yes and no. Let's just say I had an experience that let me know you can't goof off on a job. But will say I did have volunteer work at the library, Davis Library, nearby the school, for a while.
And how about you, Ada? Do you have volunteer work? Have you been a volunteer before?
No,
Have you done any volunteering in most?
not yet.
So you haven't done volunteering work yet?
No.
Well, have you done the Smart Sex volunteering?
Yeah.
You have done that. So sometimes at most she helps out with bagging items for children at the nearby school. So she helps out with placing the items in the bag and prepares them for delivery.
Great. Well, I have some questions for those of you who are leading the program about what it takes to run a program like this. If you can pull the phone down a little bit, that would be great. I want to be sure our sound quality is good for our listeners. When you have a program like this, what kind of staff support needs to be in place to make something like this a success? How many people at a time can you serve? What's the staff to participant ratio? And what kinds of budget numbers are people looking at if they want to replicate a program like this?
Would you like me to take this one?
Sure.
So the staffing is, we're looking for the highest quality staffing that we can find. And those are individuals who are able to teach the skills, be out and teaching the employment skills that each of our individuals need. The number of individuals that we are currently serving in our 2 locations is up to 15. And then the number of staff varies on each of the needs of the individuals. So for individuals who have higher needs, there's a higher staff ratio for them. And then as individuals are becoming more independent, their staff supports start to drop off.
And what does it look like 5 years later for people who've been through the program? I know MOST isn't very, very old, but for people who are already out of the program, do you have people who are financially independent and living independently, or is this more of an iterative process?
Because we're talking about transitioning youth, they're still emerging into that adulthood and really getting out there on their own and living independently. So each of the individuals are in very different stages of starting out in the working world, gaining work experience, getting their own apartments. So those who are 5 years out are still in those various stages.
And we maintain a alumni grouping within the MOST participants so that they remain part of the extended JFGH family even after they've continued, whether it be that they need a job reference, whether it be that they're interested in residential services or family referrals or peer mentors or other type of capacities. And each year when we have our transition celebration, our ceremony, when people move on to the next phases of their life after completing MOST, we invite the former participants and their families to join us as well. And sometimes they've come along with their employer or a job coach, whatever. So it's really a way for us to monitor the success not only in the year that we're in, but for several years out as well.
What are the benefits for the employers and the taxpayers with a program like MOST?
The benefit to the employers, I think Ron can speak a little further on this, but they are better candidates. They have all of those skills of working in, for example, an office environment, how to interact with coworkers, that water cooler talk, all of those skills, and they're ready for that working environment. And Ron, if you just want to add to that from an employer perspective.
I will, but I think there's something I'd like to start off with before. I'd like for everyone to know how seamless this was for us and how easy this really was for our organization. Chucky's been with us for 2 years now. There have been absolutely no hiccups whatsoever. Any employee that we engage in our company, we expect there to be some startup where, where they just need to understand, what the nature of the work is that they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to fit in. And I can tell you, there were absolutely no issues whatsoever with Chucky. The things that Chucky does for us are things that we would be hiring candidates for under any circumstances. We're just lucky that we got Chucky. But I think for potential employers, what I would think would be very important for them to know again is really how seamless this is. That the support that Chucky has received from both from Seth and the counselor that was with him beforehand is really quite extraordinary. Like I said before, my organization is much better off with Chucky, and because we need to have things done the duties that he performs, for us. I have 120 employees in my Rockville office. We're a national company, but we have about 120 employees in Rockville. Chucky has interaction with virtually all of these employees. He knows everyone by name. He says hello to everybody in the morning. Everybody says hi to Chucky. If they need things done, they tell Chucky what it is that has to be done, and everything gets done. So, if Chucky needs more hours, that can be taken care of. But seriously, it's a great program. It's a really great program.
We make certain that people, prepare. We really want to set them up for success, and sometimes people have ambitions that may be a little lofty, and we'd rather them start and then, build up so they can experience that, and then gradually.
If he wants to become general counsel, it's okay with me.
Okay.
He can be the lawyer, it's okay.
So now he's making a good rate. I mean, $10 an hour is a good rate. At what point does he become at risk for losing benefits? And if at all, and how does that conversation work for people with disabilities who are succeeding to transfer from dependency into independence?
And for Chucky, he is not at risk at this point because he's not working enough hours. But as he approaches more hours, that's a good thing that he is living independently and being self-sufficient in taking care of his needs. And those are conversations that his support staff would have and assist him with that process of completing those next steps.
So let me see if others have questions. Yes, Esme.
Hi, for everyone on the phone. This is Esme Grant with the National Association of Councils on Developmental Disabilities. You all are doing such great work, and I'm just so impressed. We're really glad to see all of this work on the ground being done in employment. My question is around how do you identify folks that are interested in the MOST program? And then a second part of that is, are you planning on expanding? I'm so glad to hear that you're working with Sunflower Bakery and Project Search, and hope to see those programs expand as well. But in light of the new CMS rules that are really going to enlighten how we view home and community-based services, and that will impact employment, I'm hoping that we do see you expand. So I'm already going to give you a leading question, hoping that it is a yes. But I'd love to hear about your plans to really work with a broader community as well.
I'll start the first, and Marcy can mention too. We receive referrals really from a wide, range of sources. Certainly from, the public school system is a major, as well as from, individuals, social workers or other itinerant professionals they work with. Certainly family to family is a major part too, because so many individuals, the families have known one another, for years over courses and growth and development, and that's another, ongoing source, and other successes in the community and other means.
Yeah, so a majority of them are coming through the public school system in Montgomery County and Fairfax County. But as word gets out there and as we grow and expand, I think Vivian said it perfectly, it's word of mouth. Because people are having great experiences at the MOST program. They are telling their friends and families, and Montgomery County is a small county.
Yeah.
We're finding out everybody knows everybody, so that referral system takes place. Your question regarding expansion, we've successfully duplicated the program identically to Fairfax, Virginia after the success of the Maryland location. So my hope, and I'm hoping Vivian's head is shaking yes too, is yes, we're going to continue expanding this model and duplicating it identically.
Do you have a wait list, and what is the budget for a program like this which has 15 participants in it?
So the wait list question is always one of my favorite questions. At this point, there isn't a wait list because it's a rolling admission. So because it's only a one-year program, we can continuously serve individuals, and as one exits the program, we can serve the next one who's ready to go. Regarding the budget, that's really dependent upon the jurisdiction that the program is in. The funding is coming from a variety of local and national government agencies to fund a program like that.
But each applicant has to be vetted, it's not, through our admissions review discharge, committee, the same as individuals for our residential and all of our other programs, to make certain that indeed that this is, an appropriate placement and that the individual could hopefully benefit from the services provided in MOST. So a very comprehensive profile is presented and reviewed with input from the family and the individual themselves and itinerant professionals, the school system, and then we help, and that way we have a familiarity and a baseline when that person enters the program.
So how do you decide what kind of outcomes participants have in the program? Do you decide if it's continuing education or job training, or do they pick what they want to do, or do you decide kind of for them based on what the program wants to achieve?
We're not the ones achieving it. It's the individuals
Yeah.
who are achieving what they're achieving. We're just there to help them along the way. So the individuals that you heard from today, those were their goals. That's what they came in with. That is what they were hoping to accomplish while they were there. Our role at the MOST program is to help them sort of fine-tune what it is that they are going to focus on during that 1 year. 1 year goes by so fast. And we can't get everything done a lot of times in that 1 year. So part of what we're doing is helping the individual accomplish what they can, as well as set up what those next steps are going to look like for that next provider to then take over where we've left off.
What typically would be the next step after MOST?
It depends on the individual. For an individual like Chucky, he already had his employment when he was leaving us. So it was helping him to find a match of a provider who could provide those supports on the job, both being there physically, but then checking in as Chucky has become more independent. And he found that through Target Community Services, and his job coach continues to check in. With an individual like Ada, she's going to be looking for a program that is going to be helping her take that next step of getting that employment. She's going to have all the skills needed when she leaves MOST. It's that next step of getting out with the job development and finding that actual employment.
And certainly those that are pursuing college, that's another avenue that helps to open so many other opportunities, like we mentioned, whether it be in childcare certification to work in a daycare or nursery or other type of children's setting, or computer skills and other areas that make certain that those classes are appropriate and suitable, and that they're realistic goals, and that there is an orchestrated plan once the completion of those classes have been taken care of.
Great. Were there other questions? So let me just ask your advice for somebody's trying to form a program like MOST. What would they want to do if they're thinking of starting something like this? What would the toolkit need to have in it?
The toolkit has to have individuals ready to go through this type of transition. That's the first and foremost thing that this type of program needs. Individuals who are ready, willing, and able to take that next step toward independence. And the supports that are needed to do that. A support staff who has experience working with individuals, getting them out into the working world, preparing them to be better candidates, and really getting out there to take that next step.
Any other advice you would give to somebody who's starting from square one and starting something like this?
Would certainly work with the school system. That's always a good, to make certain that this is something that would be an appropriate transition from the schools to the MOST program, and that synergy is involved now. After 5 years, our schools know us, and they know, and can help to facilitate that in more of a seamless manner. And certainly, family, education, advocates, professionals that are area and all others. And certainly part of JFGH's mission is to, help other communities to be able to emulate our highly successful programs, and we've done that in a way. We've now been a mentor and consultant, and more than that, to over 28 different communities over 5 continents that have learned from JFGH, and that we've continued to, a lot of travels back and forth, and to continue. And certainly we would be a good source to begin with as well.
Great. Well, I want to say congratulations to Cameron and to Chucky for getting jobs and succeeding at them. Ada, I want to wish you success in getting your first job out there. I want to thank the aides, the job coaches, the supports, and particularly the employer who took a risk and made it work for your company and for your team. I want to thank your whole team, Vivian, for the amazing work that you are doing, and Marcy for your leadership on this. I want to thank everyone who came today for our webinar or our call. I want to remind you that we will have this on our website at www.respectabilityusa.org, where you will also find many other such sessions with best practices and ideas. The PowerPoint that goes with this is also on our website, as will be the transcript. Thanks again, Vivian Bass and the entire team. We're really delighted to have you. Let me also thank the team of Respectability. I want to thank in particular Garrett and Pilar and Evelyn and Donald for all their tremendous work, and for Liz and to Omar, who also helped. This is a nonprofit organization that is led completely by volunteers. All of us are volunteers, and if you too want to be a part of this movement, I want to ask you to join us. Esme, thanks for being here on behalf of the DD Councils. It's always a pleasure and an honor to partner with you. Thank you, and let us know if you have any questions.